さん、こんにちは。三木京子です。こちらにいらっしゃるのはアンソニーで、アイスランドの、ことをいろいろ伺っています。Anthony, thank you for coming again.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, this time I'd like to ask you about a different season.
Absolutely.
So you said you went summertime?
Hmm.
Well, wintertime it was just so cold, and then summertime, how was it?
Oh, it was beautiful. It
Mm,
was so beautiful.
wow. Well, how? First of all, how was how was the temperature wise? I mean, um, do you remember how many degrees?
In Fahrenheit, it was about 50 to 60 degrees.
Mm, For them, that's a very warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is t-shirts and shorts for them.
Wow, 55 and 60. Something like here, March, or something like that. Yes. And when you say beautiful, well, what's beautiful?
Everything is so green.
Ah,
Very
green.
green.
So the degree of green was deep,
Very bright.
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 Hmm. Well, oh, were there different kinds of trees?
So Iceland isn't known to have a lot of trees.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a lot of moss that grows on the rocks and stuff,
Oh,
and that's where a
yes.
lot of the green comes from.
Ah, that green is bright green.
Yes.
Wow. And tree has a little bit different colors depends on what kind of tree. So did you see a little bit different greens or almost all similar green?
It's mostly similar.
Mm,
Um, for the few trees that you do see,
mhm.
it is like a darker,
I
deep
see.
green.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you saw those things, I mean, when you went to summertime, how long ago was it?
So that was before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
back in September of 2019.
Mm, 2019. How long did you stay?
We stayed for 7 days.
7 days. And at that time, did you go to a certain area of away from the city?
Hmm.
Mm.
So this time we drove around the entire country.
Oh, you did? So how many days did you take?
So it took us about 5 days
5 days.
to make sure that we were stopping and seeing what we wanted to see.
Mm,
Um, but if for someone who's just wanting to actually like measure the time it takes to actually go around it like as soon as possible, I believe it takes like 10 to 12 hours.
I see. So if you don't stop, you just drive, then it takes 10 or 12 hours.
Yes, maybe a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like if you didn't have to stop
Mm,
for
mm,
gas or
mm,
anything like that.
I see. Well, that means you stayed 5 different hotels or B&Bs
Mhm.
each time. How did you decide where to stay?
So we wanted to figure out what activities we wanted to do first,
Mm, mm,
and see where the best cities were.
mm,
Maybe if one activity is here and
mm,
another activity is all the way up here, we can figure out like staying in the middle in between. Um, so that way we can go here one day and then check out from our hotel the next day and start our drive
mm,
up to the next activity
mm.
and move on from there.
I see. So basically, first you decided what you want to see or what you want to do.
Hmm.
Then after that, you check the distance. Then you decided where you stay.
Hmm.
I see. Well, so the activities or sceneries you want to see or do, how did you figure it out?
So since it's summertime,
Mm,
they have different activities for the season.
mm.
Like it's prime, that's usually the very popular season for whale watching.
Oh,
Hmm.
will they come?
Hmm. So we had to go out on a boat and we spent about an hour and a half on a boat to attempt to see whales. This day we did not, but it was still fun going on a boat and driving around a small like lagoon pretty much.
Mm-hmm. When you say lagoon, it's kind of area you can get in.
Hmm.
Oh, so the boat get in a little bit in a lagoon.
So the boat is already harbored in
Mm.
the lagoon, but this is just like the small body of water that enters, that is surrounded by rocks, but there's a
Mm.
little passageway that goes out into the ocean.
Ah, I see. Well, um, so that trip, uh, while watching,
Hmm.
you couldn't see any of the
No,
whales. Uh, then did you try another time or no?
no, we did not.
Oh,
We
because
had to
you
get,
had.
we had our next activity that we
Oh,
wanted to do.
I see. Well, do you remember what kind of color the water was? I mean, ocean.
So it wasn't as blue as the fresh water, the
Mm,
glacial water.
mm,
It was still pretty, I would say, blue gray, like a
mm,
dark gray blue
yes, yes.
almost.
Oh, that's interesting. I expected a deep blue, but it has a little bit
Hmm.
grayish kind of color. I see. Do you remember how cold the wind was?
Very cold.
Really?
Yes.
I see. Did you have enough clothes?
Yes, so for this trip specifically, they provide you with a like a boat suit almost, like a
Mm.
whole jumpsuit.
Oh.
It's an extra layer, but everybody on the boat is wearing the same
Mm.
like color,
Mm.
just to protect you from like any like water splashing and things like
Yes.
that, so you're
Mm.
not getting your clothes wet.
Mm.
So,
That's good.
mhm.
I didn't realize there's a splash.
Yes, and if a whale comes up and splashes you, you're gonna get soaked. So,
I see. That means the boat goes so close to. Oh, oh. I think you are very disappointed.
I was very excited, but I was still happy. Like it
Oh,
was still a cool experience.
oh, you have a good attitude.
Thank you.
You know, if I were in your boat, I thought, oh my goodness, I wanted to see it, but then I couldn't.
I mean, like I said, I was pretty sad that I couldn't see anything, but like it's still like cool to get on a boat, put on this suit um and just like go around the lagoon. Like
Yeah,
it's something I've never done before, but I still got to do.
yeah. Anthony, just one moment, please.
Of
I'd like to
course.
say something in Japanese.
Absolutely.
Yes, about this particular way of your thinking. あ、ちょっとお話ししたいんですけど、彼はですね、サマータイムにアイスランドに行った時に、その一つのアクティビティとして、whale watching に行ったんですよね。ボートに乗って、そして何か特別な、服を着ないといけなかったんです。スプラッシュなどが来た場合に濡れてもいいように。で、結局、彼はクジラを見ることができなかったんですね。それで、残念だったでしょうと聞きましたら、うん、まあ残念ではあったけれども、でも他のすべてのことをエンジョイできたから、それはそれでいいんですって彼はおっしゃったんですよ。もう私それに感動しました。だってクジラを見に行くということでボートに乗って 海に出たんですよね。で、全くクジラを見ることができなければ、私だったらちょっともう憤慨しちゃって、ああ、もう、せっかくここまで来たのにとか思うのではないかなと思うんです。まあ、口ではですよ。まあ、大丈夫、楽しめたわと言えるかもしれないんですけど、心の奥底では、ああ、見られなかった。そして彼は、ネクストプランがあったんですよ。次の行動が、もう決まっているのが。だから、もう一度、クジラを見に来ることはできなかったんですね。たった一回の only one chance だったんですよね。でも、彼の考え方は、とてもポジティブですよね。はい。Well, I wanted to tell them what kind of positive attitude do you have?
Thank you.
It's really good. I have to learn from you.
Thank you.
Okay, so after that, what kind of activities did you do?
So we did a lot more hiking as well.
Oh, when you say hiking, summertime, I think it's different.
Oh, absolutely. You
The
can
shoes are different.
So you're still wearing the same
The
shoes,
same shoes.
but you can see where you're stepping instead of like in the snow. You
Mm,
can't see like what's underneath.
yeah, that's right.
So it's easier to see where you're stepping. It's a little bit more easy to navigate.
Mm.
Things aren't as slippery. Things are still wet,
Oh.
because it still rains quite a bit, in the summer.
Mm, mm,
But you still have a little bit more traction because there's no ice on the ground.
mm. This is interesting. I didn't think summertime they have lots of rain, but they do.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, when it's raining, you have to stay inside, right?
Yes.
And then how was you during your stay, 7 days? Uh, could you go out a lot or you have to stay inside a lot?
So it's not like a blizzard, where,
Mm,
the roads get covered in snow or anything like that. So you still can, go places.
I see, I see.
Um, Maybe the attractions that are a little closer to the car, um, instead of like hiking and getting soaked and things like that.
Yes, yes. Well, summertime, could you see some waterfalls?
Yes.
Oh, and
Lots of
then
waterfalls.
more waterfalls than wintertime, do you think?
More, well, yes, because in wintertime some of the trails to waterfalls are inaccessible.
I see, I see. You can't go.
Yeah. So these are a lot more accessible.
Mm,
Um, so a lot more waterfalls to see.
that's right. Summertime, you can go more places, areas, and then the water itself are more
Hmm.
than wintertime.
Hmm.
Mm. And how about the stream itself? It's much faster,
Heavier. Yeah.
heavier. Oh, wow. It must be wonderful to
It
watch.
is.
So, when you watch waterfall, could you stay and watch for a while, or you just move to the next waterfall, or how did you enjoy the waterfalls itself?
You could probably stay for like 5 to 10 minutes
Mm,
before it's just like you're
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
waterfalls.
Yeah, so you stand in front of waterfall and then you really absorb.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you see some other animals or birds or?
So it's not a very there's not a lot of animals.
Mm,
Um, Maybe more birds than anything, more seabirds like seagulls.
oh,
There's a time for puffins as well.
puff.
Puffins.
I don't know what's that.
They are a very distinct looking bird
Mm.
that have a very big orange beak.
Oh,
Um,
orange.
Orange, yep. It's very rounded
Mm,
as well.
mm.
Um, and they're pretty much like black and white, like similar to a penguin.
It's
But they,
big.
not very big.
Mm.
Um,
But the shape is like penguin.
yes, besides the beak itself, I would
Mm.
say it's a very has a very penguin, but this bird can also fly versus a penguin that
I
can
see. And then the beak's big?
not very big. It's very short
Sure.
but rounded.
rounded.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Uh, so may I understand that's a particular bird there?
Yes.
Oh,
In the US,
mm,
you can see them as very north though. I
mm,
think over in Vermont,
mm,
the state of Vermont, I think
mm.
you can see them at some point of the year.
Wow. How about flowers? Could you see some flowers?
Yes, so they have, I believe, uh, they have a purple flower. I don't remember what it's called. Some Alaska something.
Mm.
Um, but over in the Highlands area of Iceland, this flower is just everywhere. Yeah, very purple.
Wow. So purple.
Purple.
It must be magnificent.
Personally have not seen it myself,
Oh,
um,
really?
because this particular area of Iceland is very difficult to access.
Oh,
You have to have a very big vehicle to get up the rocks and stuff.
so it's a high area.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And it's only accessible
Mm,
during the summer,
mm,
because wintertime it's a little too dangerous to travel that way.
that's right. But you saw a picture or something?
Hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to ask more, but the time is up. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Goodbye. Oh my goodness.